everybody? Welcome to episode 7, Kicking It with Zain, aka the Belt Guy. That's why, really. Aside from that, I got a great fan today, and I don't mean a fan of mine at all. I mean a fan within the Giants community. Huge Giants fan. Great guy. If you don't follow him on Twitter, great interaction, not just football, basketball, life in general, as it may be. I got Mace with us today. I'm going to bring him in a quick second. So yeah, there's really nothing else to do but start chopping up. So let me bring in Mace. He'll tell you a little bit about himself. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Appreciate you being on. Appreciate you being here. We already got plenty of people who watching. You know, we got Darius, and Darius always here to support, one of the best supporters in the Giants community, as well as Becca. Becca and Darius are always everywhere all the time. I don't know how they do it, but they're always supporting. Chris is in the house too. So we got a couple people here. So as they chime in, um, Mark is here too. As they chime in, I'll chime you in. Darius, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. So I don't want to ever see a replica of that belt. It's very custom. It's very unique. I don't want to see it. I will literally kill you.
Hey, Darius, I'm coming for that belt, man. I'm
You know,
coming.
everybody wants to get in the square circle. It'll go down. Ain't no problem with that. And I ain't messing with somebody who's wearing army fatigues. I'll tell you that much. I'll bow down real quick there. So you're wearing the fatigues. Tell us a little something. You know, who is Mace, right? All I know about you is U.S. Army, and it just comes straight from your profile. I see Brooklyn, so there's something with Brooklyn. I see a little bit of Texas in there. Maybe that's where you're stationed. Maybe that's where you're going. All right, I saw Texas in there, and you know, there's obviously the Giants, and there's a little bit of basketball. You and I chopped up a little bit about basketball here and there as well. So tell us a little about yourself. Who are you? How'd you get here?
For sure. So I'll try to bring it all together. Yeah, my name is Mace. I'm from, I was born and raised in Brooklyn. Spent most of my life in Brooklyn. Around, I think I was about 23. I joined the Army. Uh, I'm stationed out here in Texas, so that's probably where you see the Texas
There
from.
you go.
I've
We
been
got
in
somebody from the RGV. I don't know what that means, but there's somebody in Texas right now.
Okay, my man. Yeah.
Ojeda. I got Ojeda in the house. I have no idea where RGV is. Ojeda, you want to give me a little bit more about Texas? Maybe I could fill somebody in.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah, I've been out here in Texas for like what 4 years. I've been stationed.
Okay, so where in Texas?
Fort Hood. That's
Okay, gotcha.
a real big place. And I always been a Giants fan since young. So during my time I was deployed 2 years ago. Um, I just started getting on my Twitter. I had a Twitter since 2010 or Twitter days.
Those are
I never.
those are the good days, bro.
Yeah. I had like 100 followers, 20 followers. Like I
Yeah,
didn't have much. And, I just started, tweeting, and just jumping in spaces and tweeting, and the following has been growing. And I study the game a lot. I've always uh, loved football and stuff like that. So I just speak my opinion out loud. I guess
of
a lot
course.
of people agree, and you see the interaction sometimes. Sometimes I go viral. Sometimes it's people getting on me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a real finicky thing sometimes. But things pop off, things don't pop off. But like you said, all you're really doing is talking out loud, right? So when you're just thinking out loud and some of these things process, either people will agree with it or they won't. There's rarely an in between in the Giants Twitter.
No, it
It's
ain't.
really just, yeah, I'm with you, or you're an absolute idiot, and that's all you really get. Or at least that's all I've ever gotten is really that in between. You'll get the occasional person who actually wants to have a conversation. That's rare, but it happens, right? So,
Yeah.
all right. So you've been in Texas now for a few years. How do you're in cowboy country, one would assume, with some Texans fans, one would assume, but for the most point, you're probably a little bit more cowboy country. How does that work for you? How does that?
So it sucks with TV
Yeah,
trying
absolutely.
our games. Um, I think it'll be a little better uh, this following year because I think we do have like some more primetime games and stuff like that. But and it's a lot of Cowboys fans here where I go to, but I do appreciate me being able to go right down there to Dallas and go catch a game. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean. At least they're in division, and every year I can always just go down there and catch a game.
Sure. So Chris asked, "Did you ever play high school football?" He likes your knowledge. Did you ever organize at any level?
No, only thing I've played was freaking flag football, bro.
That counts.
The knowledge come from, I don't know, man. I used to just uh study stuff and matting. Believe it or not, a lot of knowledge came from matting training, like the little skills trainer and stuff like
Yeah.
that. How to beat coverages and stuff
Sure.
like. Just I just learned like that, man. And I just honestly read and I do YouTube. I'm not like the most knowledgeable, but I do get the gist of the game and stuff like that.
Okay. I mean, listen, as long as you're putting the time and opinion to formulate one, no one could really be mad at you. It's not like you're pulling it out of thin air, right? Something's pushing that agenda or idea or whatever the narrative may be at that time. So you grew up in Brooklyn, right? You've been in the army for 4 years now, right? Is that right? 4 years?
4 years, yeah,
Four
going on.
years. So appreciate you for your service, of course.
Appreciate
Um, you know, when do you actually get the time and opportunity? So do you always get to watch a live game? Is it I catch it when I could catch it? If obviously if you're not able to go down to catch it somewhere, are you streaming it? How are you being able to keep up? Or is Twitter kind of where you get to keep up with it?
So if if I'm not in a deployed environment or if I'm in my regular work environment,
Yeah.
more like a 9 to 5, then I can catch the game every Sunday. So I'm
Sure.
usually else catching the game or I'm watching it off my phone. If I'm deployed, then I gotta track time zones. Hopefully, I'm off of work. It's real rough. So the Joe Judge season was kind of rough for me to catch it, but whenever.
Well, you got lucky there. You ain't missed much. That's for sure. You ain't missed much over there.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree.
Okay, so we're in a little bit of a football lull, if you will, right? The off season's just starting to ramp up a little bit. We've got a couple of OTAs. They got the mandatory minicamp coming up in about 2 weeks, and then they go on break, and then you got the real training camp in July. So at this point, from draft to now, give me some of your thoughts. Give me some of your draft thoughts. Give me some of your UDFA thoughts, just generally on since draft to now. What are some of the feelings or thoughts that have been going through your head?
Got you. So personally, I've kind of taken a break. I haven't like thought about it critically, but like
Sure.
I could always say my opinion. Like on a draft, I remember at first I was a little upset not getting my guys.
Sure.
You know what I mean, but I can't hold that against the Giants. Those guys are better than me. I really wanted JSN and Jordan Addison. And then I got this false hope once I started seeing JSN fall down the board. So I was
Yeah.
just like, it can happen, it can happen, it can happen. But
Yeah.
I like Banks. I think his role will be an outside corner. I think he has some CB1 potential. He's a press man guy. Played a lot of zone too. From what I saw, he was like a better zone corner, but he has the archetype, the traits, um, just the mold that Wink likes. So that I think that was a Wink pick. You know what I mean? Last year, Joe Shane, he spoke on him just not understanding what Wink wanted and the
Yep.
coaches wanted. So I think last year was more of a Joe Shane and his board from Buffalo, and this year I think it was more of the Giants picks. So I like the John Michael Schmitz. Needed that.
Needed that.
I was a big advocate of him going in the second round. I told a lot of fans, centers don't usually go that high unless those guys are generational or
Sure.
you got a team like the Saints or New England who just does what they do and you can't predict. But usually those guys are not going in the top 30. So I always thought he was in play in the second, and the board finally fell in our favor. So I'm excited with that. I'm excited to see his potential. He's a balanced guy. You know what I mean? And I don't think he should struggle that much. Jalen Hyatt, I was a big advocate of him. Loved Hyatt. I almost wanted him in a trade back scenario. He was one of my
Sure.
top trade back guys. Speedster, going to open up the offense. He's going to be our, deep route guy, crossers, verticals, the third, that third level guy. And it helps out a lot. It takes a lot of pressure off of Saquon. It takes pressure off the O line and stuff like that. So that I like it. When it came to those first three picks, the UDFA's, everybody knows Bryce. Bryce he's an interesting prospect. I'm trying to see if he's gonna make the roster because he has the athletic scores,
Sure.
has the frame, has the size. I don't think the production was too good, but from the tape that I seen, little like highlights and clips and stuff on YouTube, I was like, he looks like he can be developed and actually grow into something. So I'm not gonna mark him the next Victor Cruz like some guys. I try to.
Well, people get excited. That's all.
Yeah,
People get excited. That's all. Everybody wants to. We always get the diamond. No, this is the guy.
Yeah, this is the next
We
guy.
remember Corey Washington, right? Y'all remember that, right? That was the next guy. And then who was that 6th-round pick that got shot? Corey Ballantyne. Remember he was the guy too. Remember he was the guy. So it's always, we always want that late round pick to be the guy. It doesn't really happen that often.
Definitely. If he just makes the roster first,
that's a big deal.
The 50, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think he could, because he does have some special teams, I think, that people are not aware of. So he might be a gunner. He might be that last receiver.
I thought, and you give me your opinion, I thought his way onto a roster is he has to beat out Colin Johnson. So I thought Colin Johnson coming off an injury, that would be the size replacement, speed replacement, outside guy. Most likely that's the move. Now we're reading about OTAs that Colin Johnson's kind of going off. So now it's like, I don't know if boys going to make the roster at this point. Colin Johnson's trying to make the roster. So I was like, now I don't know who he replaces, because that was my toss-up if he had to replace somebody.
Same.
So I don't know.
It's gonna be tight. I think they're gonna carry 7. 6 and 7. I don't know who make it.
6 and 7s are gonna be the tight ones. Slayton's in, right? Slayton's in. Wandale is in, but he's probably gonna start on PUP, right? Wandale's probably gonna start on PUP, so he maybe comes later, right? Hodgins is in.
Mm-hmm.
Hyatt is in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now you start getting to, all right, I know I got these guys now. Now, who are the next couple of guys? So at this point, who's now sneaking in? Is a Crowder going to sneak in because he can do special teams? Is it going to be Jeff Smith, who's a special teams guy? There's going to be a receiver who's at 6'7" that's going to make it in as a returner possibly. That might be your 7th guy. So now that goes, I wonder who's really left here. And now you come to, well, there's Colin Johnson. And now on the outside, you got this little guy who's generating the noise of, they gave Bryce Ford Wheaton some guaranteed money. Sure, but somebody brought up, it wasn't like a ton. It's chump change for them. It's just to make sure he signs with you, right? I'm going to give you a flyer to make sure you sign with me. So I'm going to pay you to make sure you sign. Now, whether you make the 53, whole different conversation.
Absolutely, man. We're going to see. It's going to be a good look.
Like a little bit of a battle, right? You got like 15 guys at wide receiver, and now you start weeding some out. You probably got 8 to 10, and that's right in that window of who's going to sneak in, who's not going to sneak in. So we'll see if he ends up on a practice squad or if he even makes it to the practice squad. So that was the UDFA. Have you been paying attention to any of the OTAs? Ain't much going on, but I've been paying attention to any of the noise coming out of OTAs so far.
I'm reading a little bit of tweets. I'm not like searching for it like I do.
Sure.
I've seen that the offense is spreading out more vertical. Hyatt has some touchdowns. Like you said, Colin Johnson looking good. Hodges, I seen Hodges with a touchdown. But from my understanding, like they're just going through the motions of things.
Yeah, of course. They don't want somebody to get hurt. You're getting to know some guys,
Yeah, so but
year 2 of the program for other guys, year 1 for other guys. So gonna be interesting how they bring up. So who was your favorite pick? They walked away with 7. Who was your favorite? Who was your why? And I remember we were in that space about Eric Gray, because I brought this up. You were in that space I was in about Eric Gray, where people were just going off on Eric Gray about why was he the pick. So which one was, this is my favorite pick? Which one was the I'm not so sure?
So Hyatt's probably my favorite due to the value.
Sure.
Getting him in the 3rd. And what he can bring to this offense and what I know he can bring, and also his potential. Like I can see him as a potential receiver too. Like, you know what I mean? I like his skill set, and it was much needed. We needed a vertical threat, and we just didn't have that outside of Slayton.
Yeah. And with Slayton, you always worry about the hands. He makes some great ones, but he drops the big ones.
Yes, and that's the thing about Hyatt. Usually he can catch.
Yeah, better hands. Much better hands.
Have high catch percentages. Hyatt doesn't have a lot of drops, and he's not. That's not his MO. From the stuff I see, it's short tape because it's only like a year of production. But he didn't have that issue.
Do you have a comp for Hyatt? So for me, in my mind, I just envision a Deshaun Jackson, Will Fuller type. Those are names I bring up because
Will
Great,
Fuller's
great play speed, great actual speed, can do enough. I'm with Hyatt. Like I think it's kind of annoying to keep saying he can't run routes. Like just because he wasn't asked to doesn't mean he can't do it, right? So I
he
mean,
gives me Mike Wallace,
I like that with better hands because Mike Wallace was stone hands, bro.
Will
Mike Wallace was stone hands.
Fuller. If we could get Fuller out of him, I don't want to like overshoot, but Fuller was like he was good, man.
Yeah, like a healthy Fuller because Fuller never got through it. If Fuller
Never,
gets through a full season, you're talking about 1,210, easy, easy. He just
he,
never got through a season because he kept getting hurt.
yeah,
He was
easy.
a threat.
If he was a what I call high end receiver too.
Yeah,
The Devontae Smiths, the Tyler Lockett's, T Higgins. Those guys are like high end receiver too.
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. So if he could be that though, I'm
golden.
beyond. Yeah.
Yeah, it changes the offense so much. It opens up so much for everybody, right? Because at this point, the goal of the offense is just one-on-one matchups. Don't let anybody just key in onto a guy and lock him up. AKA, let's just take away Saquon because we're just gonna take him away now. Let it be somebody else. Well, now you have a couple of somebody else's.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And you're
Absolutely.
going now into year two. I'm expecting them to open this offense up. Year one was start learning the playbook. Year two is now we're gonna let a little bit of looseness here.
And I think we've seen some of that, towards the second half of the season, especially with
Yeah,
the game and stuff like that. So we know what they want to do. We know
for
what they want to do. So they just got to get to it. Get consistent, and stress defenses. Go out there, score points. I mean, that's the name of the game.
And that's why you add the speed, right? Put everybody on their heels. Speed puts everybody on their heels. So
Mhm.
now tell me about the pick that made you go. I don't want to say worst pick necessarily, but just the pick that either made you scratch your head and was, you know what? I just don't like it.
At fir- it was, I think it was Eric Gray, but I opened up to it. At first, I was just like, I thought they would just swing at a different position. I thought they would really swing at safety or edge. Um,
Understood.
you know what I mean? And I thought that the positional value of those two positions were more than a running back. But Eric Gray. When I looked at a lot of consensus boards, and I like Dane Brugler, who's really good with this stuff. Dane Brugler and Daniel Jeremiah. They had him around there. They had him as the 10th running back being taken and stuff like that. I think he was the 10th running back taken. So I think, I looked at his tape and I was like, oh, he's not bad. He seems like a short area guy. But at first, he was the guy I was just like, man, like, why? I was like,
Yeah.
you got Breida, you got Brightwell. What was the point of re-signing Breida if you were going to draft a running back anyway? So I think he offers, some stuff that both of them can. So I think he'll be that third guy, that third down guy, that rotational guy, and just take off Saquon a little bit.
Yeah, I would say Eric Gray, without hesitation, to me is already RB2. I don't even think it's a competition because he's the most, and when I say this, I say it with a grain of salt. He's the most in the mold of Saquon. And when I say that, I mean 3 down back and nothing else. Don't take it for anything. It's just a 3 down back where you can come in, you can catch out of the backfield, one cut guy, good vision, good patience. Breida's not giving you that. I don't even know why Brightwell gets carries. I don't get it.
I
He's a
think he,
good special teams
I
guy.
think
But I don't know
he's,
if he makes the roster. I don't think he makes the roster.
yeah, but he offers special teams. So
Right, which is why I understand that, but he's not going to get anything else. I mean, they got to be desperate at that point and be like, we need to pass you the rock. Things aren't going right.
oh yeah, that, yeah, he's not getting the rock.
Yeah. It's like that's like something went wrong if you're getting your name called for this.
Yeah,
Or it's just like it's like that week 16 where everybody's saying, "All right, Gary, you're in. You're rocking all game because ain't nobody else getting this rock." But yeah, to me, it's I don't know if Brightwell makes it because a lot of the guys they added late and their UDFA are going to be potential special teams replacements for people. So I don't know if Cam Brown or Carter Coughlin are back on the roster too. They had
Cam Brown back.
they had mid seasons.
No, he's good.
Cam Brown is good, but he had a really mid season. He had one really good special team season. He got hurt in the second season. I think now he's going into his third, if I'm counting right. I think
third.
he's potentially going to his third season, right? Or was he in the 2020 draft?
I think 20 is he 2020 or 2021?
He was a 6th round pick, I think, in the 20 draft.
That was Judge.
That was Judge.
Might have been 2020. Oh, I can't
I think
think.
it was. So that means he's going into contract year at this point. So I'm not
No,
sure.
he is one of the league's like most respect. Like I was in the space with
I
Carl.
like him. I like Cam Brown. I am
He's
not anti
respect.
Cam Brown.
Special teams only though.
Yeah, he's a gunner. He was a good gunner. But I'm saying last year, everybody in special teams was bad. Like
I think
everybody was bad.
I think we had too many starters on special teams and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
starters were special team players. So what does that tell you about
There's no
special
depth.
teams?
Yeah, absolutely. No depth, which has been an ongoing theme for what seems like 2 decades at this point.
Yeah, it needs to come to an end.
Yeah. So you got your favorite pick, you got your pseudo head scratcher pick. You've had a little bit of time to digest it. Adding this influx, where does this team go from here? They got 9 wins, they got playoffs. You added the influx. Now you add the free agents where you bring in Waller, you bring in Paris Campbell, you bring in my absolute favorite free agent, Bobby Okereke, who I love that kid. You start bringing in these pieces. Where are we next?
I think we should be trying to make the playoffs, wild card. Tough schedule. I think the hardest in the league.
Most road games super early. Ton of road games early. Ton of
I
close games. They got Thursday night early, Monday night early. They got a couple early tough ones.
Bumpy, man. I think it's just about sustaining, competing better in the division, sustaining success, and getting to the playoffs and trying to get a win again. So I think by paper, I think they're like 8 to 10. I'm looking for growth. I think there's a possibility that there's a chance. I'm not saying it's probable, but I think they can win 7-8 games, just miss the playoffs, but you see improvement. Like a Lions.
Absolutely.
So I'm just really looking for that. But if I had to do it right now, I got them somewhere between 8 and 10. Sometimes I'm like 10. Sometimes I'm like 9. So I'll go 4.
I think you're right there, right? Because there's always a margin of error, right? There's those coin flip games where last year you won them, this year you could potentially lose them, and that's the difference between 7 wins or 11. So if you're like at 8 to 10, if you get to 11, it means everything kind of just broke right, and you won where you're supposed to, and 1 or 2 you closed out. If you end up at 7 and play well, something went wrong, right? The defense didn't play well, so you still had a lap somewhere, but there's always that plus or minus margin for me in every season that flips either way. So I initially looked at the schedule and I saw 11. I was like, I think 11's pretty realistic for my initial. Then I went back and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm being a little bit too much. It's probably closer to 10. So if you end up between anywhere to 8 to 10, you're in that window of, yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah, definitely. I could even see, there's a small part of me that sees 11, but like you said, you just need everything to break right. Like if we do what we did last year, it could be 11, and fans and media are like, what the hell? Like the 11, like
Most importantly, you need health because without the health factor, it doesn't really matter. You need all these important pieces to stay important throughout. So you can't have Aziz going in and out like that. He's super productive. You can't have MCL, ACL, PCL, this and that, just because it's going to be detrimental. There's, as far as for me, the pass rush is still a big question mark. Outside of Thibodeau and Ojulari, there's nothing there. I don't like O'Shane Ximines. I will say this every week. He's not good. He's just not good, man. That's all it is. I don't know him personally. He's probably a great guy. He's bad at what he's supposed to do, which is get to the quarterback. He doesn't get there
at all.
And they resigned him. And I was like, damn, really? This is what happened? Leonard Floyd sitting out there, just make him a deal. He would elevate everything. You just need one more guy to just take everything up a notch.
I think they just need a situational pass, and that's why I thought
third down guy
they would do that, because you can find those guys in the third, fourth round who are not usually, those guys are just not fully complete, but they can whatever, they can stop the run, but they lack measurables, or they have the measurables,
sure,
but they just don't have the full production, like Ellerson. I thought they could just find that guy. But they did it, and I trust it. So
Yeah,
But
I
I
mean they
think
brought
they're
in that UDFA,
yeah, yeah.
the Italian guy. They brought in Baldonado. There'll be some ad. We'll see. And like I said, maybe Ellerson Smith actually plays. Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe he actually can do something. We haven't seen too much of it, but I wouldn't mind a third down specialist. Remember back in the day when the Seahawks were creating everything, they drafted Bruce Irvin in the first round strictly to be a third down pass rusher and nothing else. That's how he made his money. His job was on third down. Listen, don't do anything, get to the quarterback. And guess what? He did that pretty well when they had that secondary moving. So there's always that opportunity for that specialist. I mean, there's still like a Justin Houston out there, guys you could probably just either stand up, put your hands there, say, hey, listen, just get to the quarterback. That's your only job. I only really need you on third down. Chill out for the rest. But we'll see if it's going to be internal, external. Like you said, I'm with you, right? You trust what they're doing. Let's see what happens. What's your biggest concern going into the season?
Well, that's a good one.
Is it a player? Is it coaching? Is it something that's general that, hey, listen, man, health continues to kill us every year. That's always going to be my sticking point. Is it
It,
something specific?
my biggest concern would probably be the defense this year. I think when you look at the schedule, it's going to be harder to get a stop. It's going to be harder on third down. You're facing better QBs, and the secondary, I don't know. It's like that linebacker secondary unit. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to shape out. Like, I can see improvement because they got better up front. So, you can stop the run now. You know what I mean? You can get ahead of chains and stuff like that. You get teams, behind chains, and it starts there. And now you can, now it's not 3rd and 4, it's 3rd and 8. So now Wink can load up. He can, you know what I mean? So it's just probably the safeties with McCain. I know he likes to run 3 safeties and stuff like that. So it's probably CB. Those are. I'm not really worried about the offense. Probably that and just injuries. I think Daniel Jones is going to take a good major step. I think the O line will come together. O line could be up there too because they can hold this whole thing back if the O line is not improved.
Absolutely. I would say 3 or 4 positions are set. Most likely Glowinski is going to end up the right guard, whether anyone likes it or not. I just think he's kind of set there. I hope he can get beat out because he wasn't really, really great. He was fine against the run, just in pass pro. He was terrible, which is what he's always been. But he was worse than I even expected, right? He was worse than I knew he was going to be. It was even worse than that, so that was surprising.
Same.
Left guard is the confusing thing. Who's it going to be? Is it Bredesen? Is it Azudu? Why is Shane Lemieux still here? I don't know what's happening. That's the biggest question mark, right? Because you're set everywhere else. AT, set, locked, thank God, right? Great. JMS is playing day one. I don't care what anyone says. That's not even a question. He wasn't drafted not to be. And Evan Neal's going to have a huge season, in my opinion. Second season is going to be a good one for him. You're kind of good in those 3 parts. And again, Glowinski most likely is the right guy. What's going to happen with that left guard spot? Is there a guy you want specifically that you're rooting for more than the other? Or who cares? I just need stability.
I just want stability. I just want the guy to be the guy. I don't give a damn if it's Lemieux. I don't give a damn if it's Izudu. Whoever is just the best. I just want stability, and I want them to be good. I would like it to be Izudu because he was a top 80 pick. So you should be a starter. You were a top 70 pick, I believe. So go out there and shine.
Mauler in the run game, like his run plays. If you're going back, oh man, that guy can do it. He needs to work on pass pro, but that comes with reps. But man, in the run game, extremely effective. Everyone always brings up that 2-point conversion by Saquon. Zuda was a big part of that. He pulled and cracked somebody on that.
First game of the week, a year, and he is moving guys. I think he's got some potential. He's just got to get the pass pro together.
Yeah. And I like Bredesen too. Bredesen actually was completely pretty well. When he got hurt, things started getting a little bit shaky at that spot too. Otherwise, he was doing well. So it'll be interesting what happens there. What's going to happen with the linebacker core? All right. You got Okereke, right? We got Okereke. He's a day one starter. Who's next to him? Is Beavers going to be ready and is he going to show what he showed last summer when he was flying? Is it going to be Jared Davis or is it Gerard Davis? Davis that they signed, he played in the playoffs. Or is it going to be Micah McFadden maybe taking a step? Do you have any inkling about what's going to happen with the linebacker core?
I think Beavers.
Yeah.
Uh, McFadden, special teamer. Uh, Organization doesn't view him as that type of guy. From what I'm tracking from, I spoke with Carl Banks in a space one time, and he was saying Beavers, and I agree. I think it's Beavers. I think Beavers is the guy. I think he's going to take a good jump, marginal jump. He didn't really play, so the bar is really low. But I do think he can be that guy and just be consistent.
Yeah, shout out to Carl Banks, one of my favorite Twitter accounts because he's hilarious. He's just himself and it's hilarious because he wrecks people when he feels like it, and I actually love that part. But yeah, Beavers was flying last summer. I was unfortunately at that game when he got hurt, right? So I'm at this game and I'm watching my wife and kids, and my wife's like, "Oh, that person's down." I was like, "Don't let it be this one," and it was, and I was pretty sad about that. But yeah, man, look, if he's healthy, I love the way he was flying. I had him as a fourth rounder, not a grade. I just thought that's where he would go, somewhere between 3 to 5. I thought fourth was good for him. We got him in the sixth. I was pretty excited about that.
And
Um,
I had him about fourth round.
Shout out to the
He
Hit Squad.
slid.
Great supporter. Always shout out to everybody in the building.
Man, boy, that's my dog, man. He good
Yeah.
people, man.
So Beavers looks good there. We still got to work on what's going to happen with that third safety. I'm rooting for Belton personally. I think Belton could slide in. He's a money backer just because I think he could play in the box and outside. He's got the speed for it. Can play free. They put him in free a few times. It's pretty good. Hopefully, get some of that tackling wrap up situation going. But I like Belton too. We'll see. But you're obviously gonna need depth regardless, just to hope everyone kind of stays in place and stays on track. So now we're hoping and thinking playoffs. How do you feel about the division? You're muted. How do you feel about the division? Do you think we're going to make it? Because if you can't win the division, I don't see much shaking anyway, to be honest with you. You got to go at least 3-3, no matter what. 4-2 is ideal, anything better, but you got to go at least 3-3. I think they're going to be able to. I got them taking I got them taking week one against Dallas. I don't care what anyone says. I think week one, Dallas, we're winning that one. I feel
So,
that one. That was in my bones. I think it's happening.
so I got him at 3-3,
That's
too.
fair. Yep.
I think we can get Dallas on one. You
Yeah.
know, I
I
think I
think week
think
we I think week one at home we got it. I mean I watched
that's
that.
a must-win game already.
Yeah, out the gate. It's a big one. It's big.
Because you don't want to you want to pop this season off right, going to Arizona strong. You know what I mean, and try to get some momentum. There's sometimes there's a feeling process to these sports that sometimes we don't realize. And I think
Week one is hard, man. Week one of anything, first game of anything, basketball, first everything is difficult. No matter how prepared you are, some of the young guys aren't going to be ready. Some of the young guys are going to think they're ready, but they're not. There's always that little caveat. The game moves very quickly as soon as it starts, right? So week one's always a great opportunity to work in your favor, just like you got Tennessee last year. It was like that was a division winner, but you made it work. Same here, make it work. Dallas shouldn't scare anybody. Like they're not bad, don't get me wrong, but they're not elite. They're a beatable team. I mean, Dak Prescott was a pick six machine last year. Like literally, he threw I don't know how many of them. And yeah, they added Brandon Cooks, they added Stephon Gilmore, but those guys aren't on their prime anymore either. You shouldn't like fully fear them. They're good additions. But I definitely think Dallas week one needs to happen. Um, Take two from Washington. That tie should have never happened. That was a joke to begin with. That should be you got to get revenge and get two right there. And those are 3 wins. If all breaks well, I mean, in Philly on Christmas just to destroy their souls would probably be the best thing ever.
man,
But you gotta get there and be healthy in December. We got a late bye week. I don't know who's gonna be even playing in December. Hopefully people are healthy enough. Otherwise, you got no chance against most of these teams.
yeah, I'm with you, bro. If we could take one from Philly, I'll be ecstatic.
Ooh, man, you know what?
We deserve that.
I feel like it's a possibility. I feel like it's a possibility. All right, so the season looks, tough on paper, but I don't believe in strength of schedule. Like teams turn over so quickly and so often now. That strength of schedule really doesn't mean anything.
People get hurt, trade.
Yeah, like that, like that. So it's not even closely to the same anymore. So with the schedule being what it is, I think we'll be okay because last year there was maybe 2, maybe 3 games where you feel like the coaching wasn't either prepared or ready, maybe 2 or 3. But really, I felt like every week the coaching was ready. The coaching had people ready. Now, whether somebody missed an assignment, missed a tackle, all right, fine. But the coaching had people prepared. And I feel like That's going to be the same scenario here. They don't play games. They have people prepared. That's going to be the biggest thing. Are you going to be ready to play your opponent every week?
Absolutely. Starts preparation.
And
I
again,
love the coaching staff. I truly believe in them, and it's just good to have some continuity there for the first
yeah,
time.
year two for everybody. Nobody went away. It's year two for the main coordinators. I'm a big fan of Kafka. I think year two they give him a little bit more opening up. It's going to be interesting. I love Wink. Wink is like the man. Just that's it. I got nothing else to say. Wink is just the man. I hope he just stays here forever. I hope nobody ever wants to hire him. And if they do, he just says, "Nah, I'm good. I'm just a happy person." Uh,
Facts.
that's ideal for me.
Facts.
You plan on going any games this season?
Got to see what my schedule is like. I'm still indecisive on which game I would like to go to. Trying
Okay.
to see what a lot of which game friends are going to go to, or when I'm going to be back in New York.
Yeah.
I'll probably go to Dallas, but I do want to catch another game. I'm thinking like, oh, should I fly out to Miami, or should I go to San Francisco? So I'm just trying to figure out, line it up with a city that I would like to experience.
Yeah, fair enough. And Miami's Miami, man. That's a good time where football's like, yeah, I'm just kind of here for a game, but I'm here for Miami.
Yeah.
All right, so Chris asked a good question. Do you guys think Yannick would be a fit for the Giants? And he's obviously referring to Yannick Ngakwe. Production-wise, yes. Outside of that, no. And here's why for me, and I'll let May speak on that. The reason I'm going to say no is he's terrible against the run, and he plays with his hand in the dirt. He's not a stand-up guy. At this point, I personally like Kayvon with his hand in the dirt. I don't really love him standing up. I know some people feel the other way, but I think I like his speed better when his hand is in the dirt. Same with Aziz. So I don't know if I want to take them out to put somebody else's hand in the dirt. That would probably be my reason not to. But if you want to say, hey, listen, I'm happy with Aziz standing up and I'll take Yannick, I'm not against that at all. But that'd probably be my thing.
For sure. With Yannick, I think he fits to Chris. I like him. I just don't know what role he's looking for. We're not looking for a starter, and I don't think he's looking to be a bench guy.
Nah,
So,
he want 100%. He wants to be a full time starter.
yeah, that's the only issue with that, and then money and stuff like that. But like, if he's coming here to be, a third down specialist, second and third down guy, pass
Right.
rushing, oh, sign me up. But I don't think that's what he's looking for either. So
Understood. Becca said, "Come to a legacy game."
that might be a good one. I never looked at the legacy games.
She'll be there, so that's obviously the main reason. His squad said, "Hey, listen, if you fly out to Miami, I'll be there." So he'll be down there. So
That's
there's a little bit more enticing to you. Question from Darius, a good one. Which is the best free agent defender you both would want? I've already said this on Twitter. I mentioned it earlier today. I'll drop the name again. Leonard Floyd is the difference maker to me because he's a 3-down. He can rush the passer, and that's all you really need him to do is rush the passer and play with that little bit of zone coverage. So I'm a Leonard Floyd guy. Whether the money works or not, obviously, a whole different conversation. He's extremely productive. He's top 10 in pressures, sacks out of that linebacker spot. So me, Leonard Floyd.
that's a real good one. I'm gonna switch it up because I think Leonard Floyd is probably one of the best free agents. I think of Melvin Gordon. No, not Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Ingram.
Melvin Ingram. He's kind of on the back end of his career.
Yeah,
Was a
you just come in to do the one thing, right? Yeah, play this down, do your best on this down. Everything else is gravy. Come take a rest.
I would knock on the door for him. Justin Houston's getting old,
But
and
still productive, man. But he's still productive.
yeah, he had that role last year. I think he
Yeah,
had 10 sacks just on
I'd take that. Who's not going to take that?
as a third down guy. So I'm surprised. I thought they would with him being linked to the Ravens, but he is older, so stuff like that. But he might be the last option. Clowney, I like Clowney too, but Clowney's probably looking to be a starter. But I would like Clowney on third downs. Might be trying to.
I like Clowney in the run game because he can set the edge. But
Oh, that's where he makes his bank. He is.
yeah. But he's
Nasty.
kind of like another, he's O'Shane 5.0 because he's way better than O'Shane, but he comes close, but he doesn't get to the quarterback. I just want a guy that's going to be able to get to the quarterback to help influence that game a little bit, and obviously make it easier for that D line. And that D line they stacked up, right? They brought in Ashawn, they brought in Nacho. That D line is probably the most stacked position we have,
Yes,
the most
sir.
experienced and the best. So if they stay all healthy, that'll definitely be the one to move it. So outside of that, let's switch topics a little bit, right? So you're in the Army, right? How do you feel when sports and politics crosses? We had this whole Kaepernick scenario going on, right? Take a knee, don't take a knee. People don't like to mix their sports and politics. Some people don't care. Some people clearly have an issue with it. Do you have an opinion in any form on that scenario?
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, it blacked out for me.
Did you hear my question at all?
You said, how do I feel about when
How do
the
you feel about when sports and politics crosses, right? We had that whole Kaepernick situation, take a knee, don't take a knee, this whole scenario, right? The NFL had this whole thing about it. It created some issues. Some people are like, hey, listen, I don't care. I just want to watch football. Leave this out of it. Some people are like, no, use your voice, all that. Considering you're in the Army, right? As somebody who's in that world as well, how do you feel about it? Do you feel like athletes give you a platform or a voice, or hey, listen, leave us out of this?
so I got me in the Army answer. Like, as the Army, we would probably say you have the freedom of speech, and this is what we fight for, and the amendments and stuff like that. So you can use their voice of whatever way. But personally, sometimes I'm like, I don't want it in sport, but you can't tell people how to react and stuff like that, or what they want to support and stuff like that. So if it's for a good cause, then I don't mind it. I know some people it offends some people, but I don't have too much of a an issue of it. But like, don't become where it's like a money thing and you're just advertising and this like, then it just becomes like, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I do feel like with the commercials, the shirts and this and that, it's just like, all right, like, is this a
They
publicity stunt?
commercialize it into a business, right? Like
Yeah, is it a money
you know
thing,
what it
a
becomes.
publicity
Yeah.
thing, and like, or are you genuinely trying to do this stuff? So, but I don't get too mad about that type of stuff like that.
All right, who do you have more hope for at linebacker, McFadden or Beavers?
Beavers,
I would say Beavers,
Beavers.
because Beavers is a 3 down guy to me, or at least 2 downs. McFadden, still kind of undersized pass rushing guy who kind of needs to be able to shed blocks to get there. So definitely Beavers for me, and looks like the same for Mace. Right, next season, the season starts. Where is Saquon? Is he on the tag? Is he on a long term? What's your gut tell you? And if you were to sign him long term, what kind of deal are you giving him? Considering the market, considering everything else, considering who and what he has been, what is your deal for him?
So I think Saquon gets a contract. Uh, they're gonna play hardball, but I think at the end of the day, they're gonna pay him. I'm giving him a 3-year, $13 million uh, deal. I don't.
So 3 for 39. How much guaranteed?
I mean, I think that's the issue that they're having, because if you tag him twice,
That's
that's
22. I think it's 22.
20. God, and it's more than that, because
Now
this
it's 10 this year. I think it's 12 next year. So I think 2 years it comes out to 22. I
20.
could be wrong.
No. You're right. You're right. I thought it was like 2024. So this, yeah, bro. So I mean, that's his floor. Everybody keeps talking about those numbers. I don't think that's the issue. I think it's the guarantees probably where they're having a issue. So you're probably gonna have to guarantee about
25, somewhere
25.
around there. A little more than the 2 tags, right? He probably wants more than the 2 tags, obviously. So from 22, I'd say probably somewhere around 25, 26 is what he wants as a guarantee.
Guarantee, yeah. And I think that's
That's
probably where they were having a big issue at.
Yeah, sure. And that's probably still an issue because if they came back at 12, 13 a few times, he said, nah. And now the market's going like at 8 and he's guaranteeing 10. And they're like, look, we like you, so we'll go to 11. Even at 333, are you guaranteeing 80 to 85% of it? That doesn't really happen, man. That's a lot of money.
A lot of
26 out of 33 is a lot.
it is. It is. It is, especially for a running back. So I think I don't. Him playing on the tag is not a bad situation for him. It's
As
just
long as he stays healthy, no, there's nothing wrong with it. He gets fully guaranteed money. He gets to re-enter free agency, and the team can be like, "Yo, he just did it 2 years in a row. Throw the bag, throw the bag."
you just got to stay healthy. That's all. And I think he's a Giant for life. Uh, I think they figure it out. I think they figured out. A lot of people point to the market, but we don't know his market. He's not the caliber of Sanders.
No,
He's not the
absolutely not. Yep.
caliber of these running backs, right? So Josh Jones would have helped that. Then we would have seen what his market was. They keep saying that phrase to me, and it's like, again, you know, Pollard didn't sign, Jones didn't sign. Those guys would have gave you more of a clear, indication of the market for him, not Miles Sanders and Kareem Hunt and whoever, like all these low tier
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, of course. And in that sense, I want Saquon back. I understand the money aspect of it. Nobody wants to go crazy or be stuck with a bad contract. I don't think this regime is handing out bad contracts anyway to begin with. So that's more of a personal worry than an actual one. They're not doing bad contracts. But it's a scenario where I just tweeted this the other day where it was like, look, he's not as easily as replaceable as we make running backs to be. Like all eyes on that defense are watching him. That's not easily replaceable when you put in just person X. They're not watching person X the same way. Now they're focusing on somebody else who could beat them. So, Saquon brings a lot to the table. So it's going to be, like I said, it's interesting. I just think he ends up playing on the tag. I know a lot of people are going to disagree because Giants don't let people play on the tag. They always come through with a deal. But this is a different regime now. So I don't know if Joe Shane is of the same school of thought. If he's comfortable on the tag, he's comfortable on the tag. So um, Becca says that if he isn't a Giant for life, she will scream, cry, and throw a tantrum that will embarrass even her 2-year-old. Please record that when you do it. I would like to see that.
Yeah, me too. I would do the same. See,
I think
yeah,
that would,
I'm looking at Chubb. Chubb got what, a 3-year 36-17 guaranteed.
yeah,
Yeah,
that guaranteed
probably.
number. Oh, that's the issue
I
right there
see
in
it.
that guarantee, man.
What he's talking about. It has to be that. He's
And
better off playing on 2 tags. He probably
yeah,
makes.
get the 22 instead of saying, yeah, I'll take 22, but you give me a 4-year deal, but I'm not seeing anything in that year 3 and 4 anyway. So why would I even do that? I'd rather just go bet on myself. So I want Saquon to get his money. There's enough cap space next year. Do it right, do it smart, or just up his guarantee, whatever. I got him at 333. I was at 20 million, 22 million. Give him 25. What's another 3 million, man? Give it to him. Whatever. Don't lock yourself in for 6 years. It's fine. So give it to him. Keep that weapon around because that's part of making this offense elite, right? What good is adding a Darren Waller and a Hyatt if you lose an elite piece? And that's really what he is. So next year, what would be the biggest disappointment for you? The season's over. Forget the record for everything. What makes you sit down when the season's over and go, damn, that sucked?
Biggest disappointment, not seeing the development and growth in Daniel Jones, not seeing the development and growth in Evan Neal. Um,
I can see
will,
that.
will crush me. Those
Yeah.
two, those
Yeah.
two guys. I will kind of be, on the downside if Waller doesn't pan out. I think he will, but that will be disappointing.
If he's healthy, man, he's a problem. But
He's a,
we're back to the if, right? The if, and we have a bunch of if. If he's healthy, if Aziz, hopefully Aziz isn't like the Incredible Hulk again, coming 60 pounds over, skipping leg days, where his hammies just blowing out because he's too big.
yeah,
Hopefully he's worked that part out a little bit from last year when he had, what was it, like 20, 30 pounds of muscle or something.
yeah. He came in
He came
rock.
jacked, but then his legs weren't ready for him being jacked.
Yeah, had a lot of calf issues and stuff.
Yeah. All right. Best part about Giants Twitter.
Just the for me the interactions, the loyalty, the fandom, the support, stuff like that. So Giants Twitter got my account where it's at today. So I love it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I hate it, but it's a good place. It's a good place. It's a fun place for me. It's a place where I cope. Takes my mind off a lot of things. So
Yeah, you bring up a valid point, right? Part of mental health or just general life is having an outlet. For a lot of people, whether it's a Twitter, Instagram, these are people's outlets to get some thoughts out or find a healthy way to get things out. So that's a double win where you're not only enjoying it, but you also get your outlet out of it.
For sure.
And on the other side, the dark side of Twitter, what's the worst thing about Giants Twitter?
Uh, when things start to get personal, um, calling people out or like their names, dumbass, and this and that. It doesn't have to get so combative. You can agree to disagree.
Sure.
Uh, Sometimes the two pro people get on my nerve, or the two negative people. But that's just me. But people can express themselves how they want to express themselves. And I'm just, I'm learning to just let fans fan how they want to fan. Let them fan if they want to be super pro. That I just don't have to interact. But when they come at you as if they know you already, or you know what I mean, talking to you like all personal and stuff like that, like dog, it's just Twitter, bro. Like, get your take off, get your opinion off. If you want to debate it, we can debate it. If you want to have a serious conversation, but things, sometimes I see some nasty stuff on there, and I try not to get uh too caught up in that stuff. You know what I mean? It gets weird.
I like that saying. I'm gonna use that now. I'm gonna tag you and say that. Let them fan. I like that. When people are just bugging out, be like, "Yo, just let them fan." That's
Just
fine.
let them.
Let them fan. I like that. That's gonna be a hashtag next season. All right. Favorite Giant. Who's your favorite Giant? Gun to your head. Who's the guy?
Odell.
Odell. No hesitation there either. Went right to Odell.
Odell.
No hesitation.
Odell. That's not even close for me, bro.
Not even close. It's Odell than everybody else.
Odell. Odell, Saquon, Eli.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you have a least favorite Giant? When you were playing, why are you here? Right. I know there's a lot, right? There's a lot. If you had to pick one guy, because there's a lot, right? Towards the end of that Jerry Reese era, the last 5 years of whatever he was doing, and all of Dave Gettleman, there's like 30 to 40 guys where you could be like, I hated all of you. If you had to pick one, who's the one?
Dave Gettleman. But no, seriously,
No.
it would be Nate Soldier. Like,
Nate Soldier?
I hate that guy, bro.
I
I
understand.
hate that guy.
I fully understand. I feel that way about Galladay. I understand. I only say that because if I had to put Nate Solder and Kenny Galladay head to head, one at least gave me some production. I could at least fall on the sword and say, all right, look, Nate Solder played for 3 or 4 years. He had at least a couple good games where he was okay. Kenny Galladay gave me nothing. He ain't gave me
He gave me the
nothing.
Saints game.
Kenny Galladay gave me one good block. I remember that one good block. They got 40 million guaranteed for.
That was Gettleman's fault, man.
He shouldn't have given that contract. Darius says, let it be Eli Apple. Chris says Eric, and then he corrected it to Eric. Eric Flowers. Yeah.
Horrible, bro.
QT. Becca, do you mean Tony? I didn't despise Tony. That just didn't work out. I like Tony. It just didn't work out for me. He's not meant for this kind of a market, man. There's too much for a guy like Darius Tony here. He needs people to like keep him in check and control. This ain't the place for him, man. This ain't the place for him.
You want $1?
Yeah, I mean these lights are bright. Like these lights are bright. DeAndre Baker, thank you again. Dave Gettleman. This is a list of Dave Gettleman failures right now.
Oof.
So far, everyone we've mentioned besides Eric Flowers is a Dave Gettleman guy. Yeah, well, Eli Apple too. Thanks a lot, Jerry Reese.
Sam Bill, Corey Ballentine. Oh my God, man!
I forgot about Sam Bill.
Antoine Bethea.
Antoine Bethea when he was over the hill. Jonathan Stewart when he did nothing. They gave Kareem Martin like 9 years, $90 million for no reason. Oh man, there's just so many bad ones, man. See, this is why this one derails. Let's stay back focused. We got Nate Solder. That's the one that was the worst. All right. So tell people, aside from Twitter, what are you up to? What is your life like outside of that? You're a Giants fan, sure. You're serving in the Army. What are you doing outside of that? I know you're a little bit into basketball. We talk a little bit about basketball. Who you got in the finals?
Objectively, Denver. The fan in me, I'm going with the Heat. I'm a Heat fan, so I'm rocking.
Are you?
Yeah.
Like a day one or just like a recent or what?
Not day one, bro. I mean, since like Joel Anthony and D Wade, Shaq. I mean, so that's when I grew up,
Gotcha.
and that those were the guys. So that's when I Michael Beasley. I mean, like way back, bro. Cook.
Yeah, I think they might be able to get one.
Yeah, I mean,
Man.
objectively, I see
That's
them.
a tough matchup. But
Uh,
listen, I'm rooting for the underdog. I ain't got a horse in the race, so I'm rooting for the underdog anyway. If the Heat win it, that's an amazing story. I think it would be great. I just think Joker's on a completely different level this year. This year is his year. I'd be surprised if he doesn't win. I'd be shocked. He's just balling like something crazy.
Absolutely,
And
bro.
Jamal Murray's been better. Jamal Murray's been finally much better than what they hoped for him like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's
So we
hooping.
know you're a Miami Heat fan now. Tell the people what you're up to, where they can catch you, what you're into aside from that. Obviously, you can catch him on Twitter. Always during the season, guy you can interact with. And again, it's more than football, right? You can kick basketball. You can just kick it at all. So just make sure you follow Mace. Um, Darius said, "I'm a Nets fan from the days of Jefferson, Kid, Van Horn."
I remember
Same.
those
I'm
days.
a homer. I'm from Jersey. I was a New Jersey Nets fan. The second they went to Brooklyn, I was like, nope. I know you're from Brooklyn, but I'm not. So the second they moved, I was like, deuces. I ain't got no team no more. So now I just watch LeBron. That's all I got. I just watch
Yeah.
LeBron.
Love Braun, man. Love Braun.
Yeah, man. Goat. I don't care what anyone says. Goat. I'll say it. He's
It,
my goat. And
it,
I used
it,
to be. You know what? Jordan was my goat, and now he's not. I flipped. I absolutely flipped.
it's a good debate. It's a debate, and I
Yeah.
don't think anybody else really has much of a debate as LeBron. I think
No.
it's fair. I don't think the consensus has LeBron, but he's
And that's
there.
okay. And
He's
that's
there.
like, if you're in the conversation, that
That's
means that's it. If you're in the conversation, because you know what? There's people who are going to tell you Wilt is their GOAT. There's people who are going to tell you Kareem is their GOAT, or Magic is their GOAT, or Bird is their GOAT.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you can have all those, LeBron easily. You know what LeBron would do to Larry Bird? I don't even want to get into this conversation. People always want to bring up Larry Bird. I don't want to get into
Yeah.
this conversation.
The people that sit there and say that these new school players could not play back in the day
It would wreck them.
is one, and I used to be one of those people. That is one of the worst misconceptions out there. Just because they were flagrant fouls and elbowing
Athletically today, today's guys would dust dudes in the 80s, bro. I'm talking one crossover and it's over. It's over. There was no
guys can't play in
lateral
the
feet in
90s.
the 80s, bro.
Like you
Bro,
guys,
I could have played in the 90s. I could hit bricks. Put me in for 5 to 10 minutes. I give you 3 fouls and 1 rebound. That's fine. I could do that too.
you got AI who is maybe 6 foot 165.
Yeah, killing it. MVP.
Leading the league in scoring. I'm sure Steph will be okay.
Yeah, he'd be
I'm sure Steph will be okay.
fine, bro. And I'm sure 6'7" Clay would still get those threes off. And 6'9", 250 LeBron would still dunk it in your mouth.
6'9", yes. He's
Matter
bigger
of fact,
than
you know what? I forgot. I think it was Kevin Garnett. And this is why I used to love Kevin Garnett. Now he just pisses me off. All right. Kevin Garnett was like, LeBron couldn't play in my era. Bro, he literally played in your era. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? There's been at least 3 or 4 guys that LeBron's played with in the league, and they're like, he can't play in my era. I was like, bro, y'all wild, man.
Era, bro. When did you come in? 99? When did K? I gotta Google when KG came in.
He came in, I think, at 97. Because I think he came in right after Kobe. Kobe was 96. He was right around.
Oh, he is your era. You guys were.
Yeah, he only came in like 5-6 years after him. Y'all played in the same time, and he whooped on you.
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah. But just so you know, Mace is all into basketball. So we got football, obviously the Giants. We got that. I want to appreciate everybody in the crowd always showing up. Thank you for the support. Kicking it don't work if we're not sitting back kicking it. Most importantly, shout out to Mace coming through. I know he came straight from work. Appreciate you. And, just thank you for your time, man. And thank everybody in the comments and chats. Appreciate you. And I'll catch everybody next week, man.
No question. I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks you for everybody coming. Thank you for giving me the platform to talk. If y'all don't know me already, you can give me a follow on Twitter at Real Mace Black. And yeah, I could talk football, talk basketball, or we could talk whatever, man. Thanks, bro.
I appreciate everyone. Have a good one, man. Be good. Be safe.